Kathy's made you a presenter, so you could present something, but if everybody else dials in on their cell phone with the number there, they won't be able to see anything, I would assume.
That's correct.
Okay.
Well, we do have some of the stuff that was forwarded out by Kathy
Yes.
or
Now-
by Will and Ken.
Yes. Now, did you get a copy of the, Kathy printed off a bunch of copies, assuming you and everybody else would be at the old library. So you don't have a copy of the PVPC latest invoice and the tie and bond invoice, Bob?
No, I do not.
Okay, I will forward those. Should I forward those to you now, or you're just gonna wing it?
Sure, if you'd like to.
Okay. Let me get those up. Okay, just sent those.
Okay, I'll look for them.
And I'm gonna send you a zoning map too, that's a little different. With the overlays. Because the one that Ken had showed, did not show all of the agricultural preservation areas. And there are some along the route.
Okay.
Okay, zoning map is on its way. I think you already read the minutes, so you should have that.
Yes.
Hey, this Jim and Jason are here now.
Ah, okay. I'm just sending Bob stuff because he's not there. And
Who do we have online?
Bob Sheehan's here.
Rob's here.
So we're all here. Okay, cool.
and Ken is online too.
Okay, great. All right. Has anybody called the meeting to order?
Nope.
No.
Okay, you're waiting on us. Okay, good. Thanks. Okay, it's Tuesday, July 28th, 5:03. I'm calling the meeting to order.
Jim, before we get farther along, Jason, you should be dialing in on your cell phone so we can hear you and Jim doesn't have to repeat everything.
No, he's right here next to me. We're side by side,
Okay.
working off the same phone. So that's so we can eliminate any of that echoing.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to do a roll call. Bob Sheehan?
Sorry about that, present.
Rob Chavez?
Yeah, that's Rob Chauvin. I'm here.
I'm Sheldon, sorry. Lillian Canis?
I'm here.
Jason Schmiegel? Here. Jim Tromke? Here. Okay. So, everybody's got the agenda? Okay, something that's not on the agenda. I filed this week disclosure of appearance of conflict of interest as required by Mass General Law 268A. The purpose of this is that I'm in the process of negotiating the purchase of a property on East Street. And I wanted to make it known at this time I filed with the clerk about the rezoning issue that may or may not become an issue. As far as I'm concerned, I'm just facilitating a process. It'll be determined by the full board. after a hearing, if we proceed, and it'll be a town vote after the fact, whether or not anything is done with that portion of East Street. Anybody wants to look at the disclosure statement that I filed, you can reach Kathy Kelly Regan. Are there any questions? Does anybody have any questions about that? Okay. Moving along, administrative duties. We've got minutes to approve. And has everybody had a chance to review these minutes? We've got Monday, July 13th and Wednesday, July 22nd.
I thought we approved the July 13th minutes at the last meeting. No? Apparently not. I don't see it on the July 22nd. Oh, I thought we did.
That was just a workshop. It wasn't a regular meeting.
Oh. Okay.
Jason. Yep, Jason was here for that.
Yep. I did read those minutes, and if everybody else has, I'll make a motion to approve them as written. July 13th, 2020.
Do we have a second?
Yeah, Rob will second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Bob Sheehan?
Aye.
Lillian?
Aye.
Rob?
Aye.
Jason? Aye. Jim? Aye. Minutes are approved. Okay. Wednesday, July 22nd minutes. Everybody reviewed them?
Yes.
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 Yes. We have a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve July 22nd, 2020 minutes as written.
Bob Sheehan made a motion. Do we have a second?
Rob will second.
that.
Who
Okay,
seconded?
Jason did.
Okay.
Jason second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Bob?
Aye.
Lillian?
Aye.
Rob?
Aye.
Jason? Aye. Jim is an aye. Minutes are approved as written. Okay, that's just the minutes. What? Another invoice from Pioneer Valley?
No, the other one wasn't on their letterhead, and it didn't detail what projects Ken had worked on. So we didn't even approve the other one.
That was
So
for
you
the
should
last,
have that one, and you should have a tie and bond invoice.
I have both. So we have a final invoice for Pioneer Valley PC, invoice number 4, April 1st through June 30th. General administration by half hour, Dollar General an hour, Cody Barn 1.5, period covered, as I said, April 1st through June 30th. Direct labor, $113.41. Indirect costs, $143.12, for a subtotal $256.53. It's all broken out on the back. We have a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve invoice number 4 for Pioneer Valley Planning Commission in the amount of $256.53.
Great. Lillian made the motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Bob seconds. Any discussion? All in favor? Bob?
Aye.
Lillian?
Aye.
Rob?
Aye.
Jason? Aye. Jim, aye. Unanimous. Invoice approved. No place for me to sign it, though. Am I supposed to sign this?
Yes, you are.
I can create another document with a signature line, sorry.
We're gonna run it by that same,
I think if I just initial sign this will be okay.
Yeah.
Going forward, it'd probably be a good idea. Okay, tie-in bond invoice. Professional services rendered through 6/27. As follows: service rendered this period performed in accordance with the agreement dated May 26, 2020. This is, let's see.
This was for the stormwater for Dollar General.
Yes. Total fee authorized was $3,000. Percent completed as of 6/27/2020 was 80%. Fee earned to date was $2,400. Amount due this invoice, $2,400. Are they not going to invoice us for the other $600?
Ken?
My understanding was that if there was any additional work other than the initial meeting on site with the developer and with your building inspector, then that would be coming in a future invoice, but I am not sure that that will be the case.
Okay, so
The planning board did authorize 3,000, so understanding that if there's future work, either an amendment to that service agreement would need to happen, or would be able to be covered. The work that she would do would be covered with the $600.
okay, so they're only invoicing for work rendered.
Correct.
For $2,400. Okay, do we have a motion to approve this invoice?
I'll make a motion to approve the tie-in bond invoice dated July 20th, 2020 for the amount due of $2,400.
Bob Sheehan made a motion. Do we have a second?
Rob will second.
Do we have a second? Rob, second. Any discussion? All in favor? Bob?
Aye.
Lillian?
Aye.
Rob?
Aye.
Jason? Aye. Jim? Aye. All in favor? Okay, it takes care of the invoices. What else is left? Okay, discussion further bylaw amendments. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, I'm going to jump to Alan Katalowitz. I spoke with town council.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair. This is Bob Sheehan. I would like to recuse myself from the Alan Katowitz conversation or proceedings.
Okay. So noted. Lillian, so noted.
Got it.
You gonna leave the room? Okay, I had discussion with town council about extending the permit. And he said, as long as the board felt that it was, the board agreed with it, he saw no issue with it. If there's been no changes in the bylaws, in other words, if the special permit, see, that wasn't a special permit. As long as the permit still complies with all existing bylaws, he saw no issue with it.
And as
So
far
would
as
that
we
be-
know, there hasn't been any?
Yeah, we got a letter from his engineer stating that the design still meets stormwater management to date.
I would assume everything else, because we haven't changed any subdivision bylaws
No, that's,
or regulations.
and his holdup was the conservation where the crossing was. I believe they finally agreed to it. Made him make some concessions on other properties.
I have a question. He's asking for a 2-year extension. I think as we're already looking at maybe changing the stormwater bylaws, I would suggest only a 1-year extension.
So I guess I'm okay with doing that. But how much can he get done in 1 year? So what do we say? As long as he gets started within the next year?
I would agree to that.
Pardon me?
I would agree to that.
How's everybody else
next
feel?
year, well, in the next year, within the year before this time next year. Right?
Ken, what would be the proper wording for that to extend it? Obviously, he's not going to finish it. He's just going to, the best he can do is get started, maybe clearing some trees or start some excavating.
So he currently has a lapsed definitive subdivision approval, and he's requesting a an extension of that approval. So, I guess the recommendation, should the board take it, would be to extend the approval for 1 year. I don't know if you need to necessarily address the requirement. Obviously, you want the development to continue progressing. With I guess your motion could possibly be agree to extend the subdivision, a definitive subdivision approval for Mr. Katowitz, and then name the subdivision and for 1 year to allow for continued construction of subdivision. Especially if nothing has happened, since the last time the board approved the extension of the approval. Yeah, I think. Go ahead.
So why don't we do it this way? Why don't if the board's in favor, we can vote on extending it for 1 year, period. And then the letter that we, if in fact we approve it, the letter we send him, maybe, Ken, you could dig out the original
Sure.
letter and use the same verbiage with a new signature and date so that it can be taken down to the town clerk and recorded again.
Yeah, I can look for that.
That way there, everything, all the conditions, everything that was imposed on the first permit stays in place. There's no question.
Correct.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
Any other discussion about that? Okay, do we have a motion to extend Mr. Katowitz's permit for that project off of Maximilian?
This is Lil. I'll do the motion to extend the definitive subdivision approval for Alan Kotowitz at Phase 2 Cape Pine Estates for 1 year period.
Okay, and that 1 year will start from the date it's recorded after receiving our letter?
The 1 year starts, right?
Yeah, once it's recorded. We'll only give them 30 days to record it. Okay, do we have,
Okay,
we have
so
a
I'm
second?
a little confused here.
Okay.
You want to wait for the second and then I'll tell you why I'm confused?
No, let's clarify anything before we vote on it. What's,
Okay, we're sending him a letter. So the letter, I'm not getting where the time starts ticking. Is it when he signs for the letter because it has to be sent so that he signs for it? Or is it from the date of this vote?
I believe it's when it gets recorded, and he's only given, we only give him a period of time to get it recorded. Is that correct, Ken?
It could be perceived either way. Normally, the board would say the date of approval would be the date that the motion is made.
Okay.
So the approval of the permit would be that. Obviously, the requirement is that the developer would need to record accordingly. But normally, the date of that the clock would start for the year would be the date that the planning board decides to make an approval or make a motion.
So then my motion should be extend the definitive subdivision approval for Alan Kotowitz at Phase 2 Cape Pine Estates for 1 year, starting July 28th, 2020.
Do we have a second?
I, Jason Smigiel, will second.
Jason Smith, Jason second. Do we have any discussion? Okay. All those in favor? Lillian?
Aye.
Bob? Bob?
Somebody's drowning there.
Yeah, Rob's and I.
Jason? Aye. Jim, aye. Motion carries 4, 1 abstains.
What is that background noise we have?
I don't know. Okay,
Whoever was moving around, is it moving around?
I don't know. It's settled down. Okay, so let's jump to further discussion about bylaw amendments.
Before we go that far, Jim, real quick, I had billing down, and you should have a recap there, but if you want to push that up to the next meeting, because there's missing pieces in there still.
Say that again, Lillian. What are you referring to?
Proposed billing back for projects.
Yes.
You should have a copy in there. If you want, we can push that off till the next meeting, because well, we've got the new tie and bond invoice that came in, and there's a couple of the missing pieces. One from you, one from Bob, and I'm waiting to hear back from Steve Nally.
Okay, so we'll just hold off till our next meeting.
Hopefully I'll have more answers by then.
Okay. Yeah, there was some others. Did everybody get that letter from 115 North Street, the business plan?
Yes.
We should discuss that tonight so we can give some sort of an answer. Bob, you back with us?
Yes, I am.
My understanding, what they're trying to do there, I don't think it's allowed. Is there any other thought about that?
Yes, I did listen to the most recent Board of Health meeting, and apparently they're kind of tackling this request, and it doesn't. The best I could contrive from the meeting is it doesn't sound that good, but we can look at it from a planning board issue as well.
Well, there's they're going to have customers or third-party delivery service going in and out of there. It named 3 different delivery services. I'm not sure that, the home business was designed for something along these lines. As far as the other things in this letter, there's culinary arts, food service management, and all that. That doesn't really apply to us. That would be more with the Board of Health.
Jim, this is Lil. I agree that it's in a residential area. You'd be increasing traffic there. Maybe not, 20 more vehicles a day, but still, it's not allowed currently.
Yeah, I don't think this is the type of business. I mean, a home business refers to offices. I don't think this complies on a couple different levels.
I think it sort of falls under catering, but even though they're not delivering themselves, I think it sort of means that way.
Well, I'd be in favor to ask Ken to review our bylaws and call out any discrepancies in the bylaw for us.
I think that's a good idea.
What are you saying about calling out any discrepancies?
Well, I want him to do a cursory review of what they're asking for, and then have Ken review our bylaws. For compliancy. And then bring it back to the board.
Get that, Ken?
Yes. Yes,
Do
I
we
do.
want to vote on that? Is there any discussion on that? Is everybody in favor? Any thoughts? I heard Bob and I heard Lillian.
Yeah, I like the idea.
Jason likes the idea, so
Yeah, I'm good with that idea also.
why don't we have a motion here and we'll make it official and have Ken do an official review of this request to see how it complies or doesn't comply with our bylaws.
I'll make a motion for Ken/PVPC to do a cursory review of the 115 North Street business plan as it was presented to us by Hart Mosier.
Do we have a second?
Hi, Jason Smigiel, second.
We have a second. Jason, any discussion? All those in favor? Bob?
Aye.
Lillian?
Aye.
Rob?
Aye.
Jason?
Aye.
Jim? Aye. And Ken, when you do that, look, look at the bylaws to see where it complies or doesn't, and then also, depending on what you learn, if in fact it does meet what it's lacking, site planning, so on and so forth.
Okay.
If we find that if you find that there is a fit for it, then we should probably send them a letter telling them that it does have a potential, but this is what it's missing. Okay, so with that being said, I learned something at the last town meeting I wasn't aware of, but the appropriation of funds to hire a town planner / conservation consultant has been back shelved, if you will. It's not going to happen right away, if at all. So based on that, I think we need to, and based on that and the fact that we're getting busier and busier, we're a part-time board, although we have to watch our budget and make sure that we can afford to do this, I think we need to treat Ken more and more like our planner and use him to the best of his ability to do what a planner would be doing for us if the town had hired one.
I agree, Jim. Unfortunately, we're just caught, as everybody's caught in a situation right now with the pandemic and funds drying up. I think we should utilize Ken /PVPC to the best of our ability and their ability.
I think it'll help accelerate permitting, and I think we can be more efficient that way. Seeing Ken's got a lot of time on his hands. and we don't. So, I mean, we'll take it up case by case as we move through all the different applications we get. But I think where we can use Ken to help us, I think it would be not so much in our best interest, but in the applicant's best interest to help facilitate this at a more efficient period. Okay, with that being said, Ken, you, as usual, delivered for us in just a few short days from our last meeting with a bunch of information for us to look at. So do you want to walk us through some of these new bylaw?
Sure. So again, I think the mantra is that this is still in its early phase. So obviously not necessarily, and this was what I was able to take away from the resources that I knew that I had. So, you know, having access to the PVPC network and the various tasks your previous consultants worked on with you. I sent to Lil a zoning map, a Word document, which basically reflects the areas of the zoning map and of town, which based on your workshop last week, you were exploring on changing the zoning in those areas, as well as some introduction to some language that could be possible regarding the accessory buildings, actually private garages and stables over 1,200 square feet, and how to address that should the board want to explore that more. And I think probably for the first exercise, I learned today that I'm able to screen share. So it probably is not going to be, let me try to figure this out though. It's not going to be something that the chair or the other planning board member that's in the old library will be able to see, or the vice chair. So the people watching this on YouTube, as well as those participating or viewing this on a computer, would be able to see what I'm gonna be trying to share. So let's see. So it actually says that I have to rejoin the meeting to allow me to share. So I will be right back. Hold on.
Jim, so that you know, Rob said he can only be in the meeting till about 6 o'clock and then he has to leave.
Okay.
Okay, I'm back. Oh wait, now I can't share. That's weird. So, well, I don't know what happened. Now I'm not able to share. So this is going to be an interesting exercise, knowing that the board has received some preliminary documents, and more than likely what I'm going to ask Lil and the assistant town administrator to do is maybe post these documents to the planning board page, just so that it's open for viewing, as the board continues to discuss the zoning map amendments and the bylaw amendment. So, you know, in this first document, which is the zoning map amendment PDF, which shows the portion of the town and some colored circles, which show the segments of the street and a general location of the part of town you're exploring to change the current zoning. So I also provided in this document some bylaw of some warrant language for a future bylaw amendment. Not necessarily knowing to the detail what the board is looking for, and kind of going off the conversation on Thursday of last week, knowing that the board was exploring not utilizing or creating an extension of boundary that's to the rear lot line, but rather a portion into the lot. So that's addressed in the second and third map amendment. But I guess, what is going to be a helpful exercise is for either the board or conversing with the chair, maybe just to identify the parcels or part of parcels that need to be changed or need to be addressed. What I'd like to do is, for at least the next meeting, show what the current zoning map looks like in those locations, and then show what the zoning map amendment would look like. And so basically another map, a version of the map that shows now the extension of the boundaries of those various districts. And I would be asking my GIS staff at PVPC to address this, as well as should the map changes go into effect by vote of town meeting, provide a new zoning map to the town. So that's just an initial comment about the zoning map amendments. I'm not sure if using this time, to create some understanding of identifying the parcels is helpful, or maybe just taking initial comment or regarding the map itself, or the language that I have proposed for a future public hearing and for a bylaw amendment. But that's what I provided in this in the map amendments document. So I'm not sure if any of the board members want to chime in and provide any comment, but that's probably what I think how the process should proceed in this weird way that we're engaging at the moment. Hopefully next time the technology will work where I can actually share the screen.
Okay. What you've presented so far is does everybody have hard copies?
Bob
Does
Sheehan is
everybody have a
looking at,
copy? You are looking at something.
yes, and my only comment right now here in the, it being in the fledgling state, is the map that was provided, the first map with the green oval starting at Pleasant and East Street, that should probably extend down to the red business district at Barton Street. I believe that's what we talked about last meeting.
Yes. Correct.
Okay.
So
This is Lil. Something else to keep in mind when you're looking at the individual lots there. This map does not show, there's a lot of agricultural preservation land there. So I don't think we can tread on that.
So that's
No, but-
correct. Lil makes a point. As far as the map that I used, this does not include the agriculturally protected resources map that the town has as its official zoning map, and it's posted on the website. So that's just a comment. Obviously, there are this is a mechanism for planning purposes, just to see where your zoning boundaries lie. But she is correct that there is that other map which does show your APR lands.
which, whether it, I think we're looking at a business overlay. So if it overlays wetlands, the wetlands dictate what you can do with it, whether it's residential or business. So whether it encompasses that or not, it's kind of a moot point. You know, you could zone Forage Pond business. It doesn't mean conservation's going to let you build anything there. But I think it's easier to keep everything clean and do the areas with I think 500-foot setbacks is more than enough. Maybe even less than that on these areas. So Ken.
Yeah.
I would want to do the minimal that we need to do to present for a hearing, so that we're not doing unnecessary work if it gets changed within the hearing.
Okay.
So I think we'd want to present something as generic as we can. And correct me if I'm wrong, because I haven't done as many of these as you have. And then take the feedback from the hearing and finalize.
So maybe your process is to open a hearing with a presumption that the boundary may change during the course of the public hearing, and then the board, when it's ready to approve or recommend approval of a zoning map change. Is that correct? Am I kind of in the ballpark?
Yes, that's my thought about it. I don't want to go into this too rigid without getting some feedback from the town.
So I think, another comment as I was exploring this and going into a deeper dive of the bylaw and the map, I did notice that the town has, many overlays, but not many zoning districts. So it is, I guess, a question that I have, and an overlay district is meant to really fine tune the development standards of whatever falls under that boundary. But the underlying zoning is kind of the pardon for any lack of word, but it's like the Bible. It's the constitution of the of whatever parcels are covered under that underlying zoning. So having it was curious to me how the town explored overlay districts that creates intensity with an underlying zoning district of residential single-family units. So, for instance, on East State Street, which, if you're looking at this document, that I know this is not addressed in the zoning map amendment, but it's just food for thought, that you have a segment that's in the green hatch mark. I don't have let me see what this map refers to. With a village center, that obviously it will have an intensity of different types of developments that are allowed there, but has the underlying zoning of residential and single-family residential. Is it, I guess, a goal of the board to explore or have a more consistent standard of development along these corridors, through an expansion of the general business zone all along East Street up to 100 feet into the property, or yeah, I guess that was my question.
Well, and that's a good question, because comparing the 202 corridor to the East Street,
Mm-hmm.
although the traffic counts are high, I think the 202 corridor is more conducive to business, where the East Street. Well, let's back up a bit. The New Ludlow Road, industrial. We're going to expand the industrial. Industrial is industrial.
Mm-hmm.
But when we're trying to allow some businesses, especially on the East Street, the New Ludlow Road to East Street to Ludlow, we may, with all those vacant lots, you know, the allowed business use may be different than elsewhere because of the lack of residents.
Yeah, so I mean, the thing is the application of the overlays versus the application of the underlying zoning. Understanding that, you may have standards or types of uses that you would perceive to be okay in certain corridors, like on East Street between New Ludlow Road and the Ludlow Town Line. If either identifying the types of uses that are allowed there, possibly creating a new zoning district to address for those types of less intense uses that you wouldn't find on Route 202. Maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, exactly.
Okay.
And there may be a difference between East Street to New Ludlow Road and New Ludlow Road to Ludlow. There may be a difference there as well, if at all.
Right.
I think we'd have to look at our bylaws and our zoning and see what's allowed where, and see what types of businesses. And again, we want to get feedback at the hearing from the residents to see what they would be open to. My opinion is the New Ludlow Road to Ludlow. They've taken down so many houses that it's ideal there to put some types of businesses in there. There's some already existing. Automotive repair.
Uh-huh.
I mean, we can hone in on what types we would allow and be more, we can be more specific about it.
Well, let's remember, most of the property that we're talking about in that general area is owned by Westover Management or whatever the heck they are, and they're gonna be the ones calling the shots as to what they decide to lease to a potential business. Isn't that correct?
Well, they're going to lease whatever is allowed. We don't want
another way of putting it. Yeah.
So if we give some thought to what we would like to see in there.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe coming up with certain types of uses in a less intense and dense area of town, and exploring that. So maybe the next task is identifying the types of uses that could be warranted there or could lead to future development in that corridor. That is probably more that can be ingrained more within the context of the current neighborhood that's existing. So it's not too much, denser development in that area. But identifying the types of uses that the town would like to see over there.
I mean, we can come up with some examples for the hearing, like a convenience store, professional businesses,
Uh-huh.
come up with some examples, but, mostly get feedback based on that. I mean, that's the purpose of it. I mean, we could put this whole package together and take it to a hearing and then tweak it based on what we hear, or we can stay fairly open about it and wait until we get the feedback. I'll leave that up to the board. How far you want to go with this before it goes to hearing. We have to have some structure to present, the basics.
Well, I think what we have to do is, number one, figure how far back from edge of road that we're going. Are we going 100 feet, 500 feet? 100 feet does not work for me, especially since you have a 40-foot building setback from a street. But that's neither here nor there. We have to decide these little things, and then kind of approach a bigger picture from there. Wouldn't you think?
Yes. And I said 500 because that was something we used on 202 Quarter.
Right.
That may not make any sense here. We may be down to, maybe 300 feet. We don't want to make it so that you can't have a proper setback, parking, and safe exit and safe egress from the driveways either. Where you're so you shoot from the hip. I'd say I'm trying to see what these building lots are. 150. Bob, what's a typical building lot? 150 by what?
Hang on a minute, Jim. I'll do that for you.
Gotta be about 250.
Yeah, 267 feet deep would be a 40,000 square foot lot with 150 feet of frontage.
So we could say the setback could be we'll say 400 feet or to the existing property line, or 300 feet or to the existing property line.
Mm-hmm.
So you follow what I'm saying? So if the property lines are already 275 feet, then they can't go back any further. But if there's one that jets back a little bit more, 350 feet, then they can use the full 350 feet of that lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does that make sense?
It does. I like your preliminary thought about having Ken come up with kind of an open-ended book, or leaving everything open to discussion, so that we could get feedback from the residents of the town of Granby and see what they would like us to do. If they were to come out and overwhelmingly say, don't like this at all, well, we put the brakes on, I guess.
Yeah, I don't.
But,
that's kind of.
But we have to move forward. Unfortunately, it's so blasted difficult to try to move forward in this day and age. I really wish we were meeting face to face, but I understand that can't happen. I don't know how we're going to handle a public hearing with you, Jim, as the chair and moderator, trying to recognize people and trying to because you're not in a room together, being able to try to understand somebody exactly what they're doing, but
I think we can all meet here in the library safely. Those that don't feel comfortable, by no means do not need to be, don't feel pressured to be here. At least for the mapping.
well,
And
if
then
I
as
may,
far-
before you go,
Yeah.
if I may, before you go any further, one of the issues that we had with that, with three of us meeting at the last meeting last week, was, if I understand correctly, Lil, Rob, feel free to chime in on this. There was a lot of reverberation and everything, and people couldn't exactly hear what was going on with the two different cell phones in the room. Was that correct?
Yes, as long as they were both on, and if you put one on mute, you'd be okay. But then you wouldn't be able to hear whoever muted their phone.
Right, and you have to be diligent enough to know. And I did that a couple of times myself. Oh, jeepers, I had muted this and I had started to speak. So
And you did.
I
well.
understand. But let's task Ken with what we've given him this evening, and it's 6:01 now. I know Rob has to go, and let's
Oh,
kick
John.
things around a little bit. Rob's gone.
Well, I'm assuming you said 6 o'clock.
I'm still here.
Okay. So I'm glad I didn't say what I was going to say then.
Hi, Jim and Daria.
No, I wouldn't do it. Yeah, I would say let's at the next meeting, if nobody feels comfortable getting together, then at least see if you can't, instead of working off your phone, see if you can't get on a laptop or your computer. And then, Ken, do you think you'd be able to do a presentation at that point?
Yeah, we'll figure out the technology regarding that. I think to answer or to respond or to comment on Bob's statement regarding convening and having people in the old library. Obviously, the town committee members are, I believe, able to meet, but I'm not sure if the town has adopted a policy where the public can join you. Obviously, this is available on, Gcam and will be posted eventually. But I do think that, with the ability to share the screen and with the board members and their ability to look at what we're talking about, it will make the conversation flow a lot easier. Obviously, assistant administrator provided you some of the paperwork, but it's difficult to explain to the board without being able to point to it on the screen, that you'd be able to see what I was talking about. Identifying even roughly where this boundary would be as the board is exploring the zoning map change. I knew it was going to be an exercise like this, but as soon as we're able to have the conversation and be able to see the map together, we can identify, presumably what a new zoning boundary would be. But I hope for the next meeting, and maybe some troubleshooting before the meeting would be helpful that I could go through.
Let's also remember we have the ability of members being at the Carnegie Library for the meeting, and we also have that large screen TV. If somebody could figure out how to use that, and the members that chose to be at the library, we could view that. However, I certainly don't have the technology to be able to make that thing work.
Bob, we would
Yeah.
need to have somebody there in at the old library with a laptop connected directly to the TV.
Okay.
I've got Jason here. You can't see him, but he's nodding his head. He can do it. He can set us up.
And then it's a doable thing.
Well, that bingo. We'll change Jason's title of member to tech support.
There you go. I think Rob can do it too. Rob's got that. Still there, Rob?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
I believe Rob had said in the past that he could have done what Jay was able to do for us.
Yeah. All right. Well, so we can get that part figured out. Without getting too far ahead of ourselves, as far as a hearing goes, we're probably not going to have a hearing before, here we are, end of July, August, September, October. We may not have a hearing before. Well, we're going to have to find out when we want to present and then figure out where the hearing is going to be. But we may not have a hearing before November, and then if we don't have it before November, we're probably putting stuff off until spring. Before we have when's the other town meeting?
I don't know.
Don't they usually?
The voting,
Yeah.
there's voting in September and there's voting in November.
Well.
Well, I mean, the only way the town of Granby was able to realize a large capacity meeting was the experiment that happened on last Saturday with town meeting. And of course, in November, you're not going to have something like that. I don't know, things, we'll just have to play things by ear, I guess.
I'll talk with the town administrator and see what because we don't even know what type of, I mean, I know we've got November, we got votes and things of that nature, but as far as town meeting goes, I don't know how they're gonna, what their recommendation would be. If we wanted to have a hearing in the next couple of months, not knowing who would be here, what, oh, let's just keep moving ahead with what Ken's got some homework to do. We can discuss some more the next meeting, and maybe I can get some information on how we could what their suggestions would be for us to conduct the hearing and be fair to the public, to make sure that they're heard, they see, they understand. I don't see this having a hearing, a virtual hearing on or on Zoom or something, and getting the public's participation accurately.
Jim, I think that was the key word, accurately. Being able to feel the public out.
Yeah, this is a big change. We're proposing some minor changes, but some big changes. I'll make sure that we're doing this correctly. So like I said, let's work on getting what we're going to present first, and then we'll figure out how to present it afterwards. In the meantime, I'll try to get some feedback from other towns. See what, I'm sure Chris has been talking to others. Granby isn't the only town trying to get this stuff done.
Yeah, I was gonna say that, you're not the only town that's trying to navigate this perception of being able to accept public comment regarding some of these big decisions that will be facing the town at some point. So I think there are ways to engage, and I'd be happy to help However, with that conversation, working with the town of Hadley, they're starting to explore how to navigate public hearings for special permits and such, and such. So that's something that you may be needing to explore in the future. But I can assist with that too.
Okay, yeah, anything we can learn from you, from other towns would be great.
Sure.
So Ken, do you have a clear view of the
Yeah,
agenda?
I think regarding the map exercises, I think, understanding this, I'll definitely review Lil's notes, and then I'll review this video when it's posted at some point, just to get confirmation regarding. I took notes during the meeting. I think probably providing some sort of new parameter of the types of uses that you may want to explore for this corridor, particularly New Ludlow Road to the Ludlow Town Line. And then, just amending some basic language that we had in there. I think, the next time we're able to convene and board members are able to participate by seeing a screen, and hopefully I'll have the technology issues figured out, so we can identify what that map would look like. I think that's important too. So hopefully at the next meeting, or whenever the board decides to take this on next, we can do that.
Okay. So when do we want to meet again?
Well, our next regularly scheduled meeting is Monday, August 10th.
I have no issue with that. Unless people are going to be on vacation. If there is such a thing these days.
Aren't you on a vacation now?
We call it furlough.
And, yeah, okay.
I'm okay with the 10th.
I'm good with the 10th.
Jason's good, I'm
So-
good, Bob's good, Will's good.
Rob?
Yeah, I'm good. Okay. 10th it is. Is there any other discussion? We have a motion?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
We have a second.
I'll
Second. Okay. I beat you, Jason. We got 2 seconds.
Who seconded?
Doesn't matter, one of us, Jason did.
Jason.
Jason second.
Jason
Any
beat the
discussion?
motion.
Yeah, any discussion? All in favor? Bob?
Aye.
Lillian?
Aye.
Rob? Aye. Jason?
Aye.
Jim? Aye. Thanks, everybody. See you on the 10th.
Have a good night, all.
Good night.
Later.